Albert Breer says the Niners could be interested in signing Baker Mayfield, which maybe shouldn't be a surprise. It seemed like they might have been interested in claiming him off waivers last year if they had been in position to do so, but they weren't. What do you think of this? What does it mean?
As long as you put his locker right next to Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa, as I'm interviewing Baker, starts saying Baker, Baker.
What happened to your career, Baker?
Baker. The way Bosa says Baker's name is awesome.
Baker never recovered from that, by the way.
Never. At first, when I first heard the news, I was like, I hate this. But you know what? I like it. I like Baker Mayfield with the Niners. Why? Because Baker Mayfield has been humbled, he's been broken, and he's been given up for dead. And that's when that's when I want that guy. Because he still has mobility, he has arm strength, he has moxie, he's been humbled in the Niner culture. He would be silenced. I think he's good enough to start and push those guys. And I think like let's just say Baker had been the guy instead of Josh, they would have still had a chance to beat Philly, and they didn't have a chance once Brock got hurt. So I think that's key. I like the idea of Baker. The other reason I like Baker is I think Baker needs the Niners more than the Niners need Baker, and Baker knows it. So he can come here, rebuild his value. And I think it's a great move. Why? Because at the worst case scenario is he never plays a down, and you rebuild his value, and you might be able to trade him in a year or so for more than what you got. Because I think this guy knows how to play, and I loved what I saw of him at the end of the year against the Raiders, and I think that's just kind of proof that the Browns are a bad organization. The Browns be Browning. And he looked better with the Rams, and he looked better with the Niners than he looked with the Rams, because the Niners have weapons, and there's mobility there. There's moxie there. And if Kyle Shanahan remember the first thing Kyle told us about his quarterbacks when he went for Hoyer? It was like, I like to have two quarterbacks that have similar skill sets, so I don't have to change the offense every time I go from quarterback one to quarterback two.
He did say that.
Baker and Purdy are very, very similar. Right-handed, short quarterbacks who can make plays with their arm, but can make plays with their legs. I realize his commercial to touchdown or commercial to win ratio sucks, but that's why he's been humbled, right? He's been humbled. I'll say this. I like Baker more than Dalton, probably a little less than Mariota, because I think Mariota's got mobility that's really difference making. But there's obviously some issue with Mariota. I think I'm biased on that because he completed 93% in the game that I watched. And how could you not be biased? But I'd much rather Baker than Matt Ryan, than Jacoby Brissett, than Andy Dalton, and probably he's like right there with Mariota for me. So I'd be all about that. I don't know what that means for Trey, but I'd be all about that as far as adding a third.
At what price though?
Play.
At what price? You see me over here holding my nose. Like I'm not a big Baker fan. Oh, see, here's the thing. I would rather.
I would say I'd like him at 5. I'd like him at 5.
Again, I would rather draft Hendon Hooker and give him, $1 million a year in round 2 or whenever. They're not going to get Hendon Hooker. They don't have.
But here's the problem, Grant. What if Hendon Hooker had surgery of his own this year?
They're not going to get Hendon Hooker. I would rather draft a quarterback than.
But what if that quarterback has to play week 1?
I would rather draft a quarterback. I mean, if they can, if they can have success with Brock Purdy, I think they can do it with another quarterback. I think they've shown they need a quarterback who's experienced, can do the basics, has a little bit of quickness, a little bit of accuracy, and is pretty smart. I think Brock Purdy could have started week 1 last year. I think he could have. I mean, it's not like Trey Lance was that great. It's not like anyone on the offense was that great week 1 last year. I think the Niners have shown that if they can have success with Brock Purdy and that rookie, that they should keep doing it. I better to bring in. Are you rooting
for Stetson Bennett? Because I will say this: of all the quarterbacks that are going to be available to them, I think that's the guy that's probably most ready to play week 1, week 2, if you had to play him.
I'd rather draft Stetson Bennett than sign Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield's been injured. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as confident as he used to be. Like I'd rather, and I know it worked with Seattle and Geno, but I'd rather draft a quarterback than do the reclamation project thing. This guy's going on his 4th team in less than 2 years. There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with Carson Wentz. Maybe, hey man, if the team that drafted Brock Purdy should let it ride. You're on a heater at the Vegas, at the casino, at the craps table. Let it ride. You're that team.
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say is I'm really confident that some quarterback after, let's say, the top 5 are Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, for Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker. I think those 5 guys are probably going to be the first 5 quarterbacks. I'm really confident that one of the next 5 or 6 guys, McKee, Jaron Hall, Jay Kaner, Max Duggan, Clayton Tune, Stetson Bennett, DTR, Aiden O'Connell, somebody in that group probably is going to be a good NFL player. I just don't know which one. And
me neither. But if the Niners could find Brock Purdy, they should feel confident in their ability to figure out which one of those guys is right for them. Because again, you're taking a quarterback who is on whatever college team and putting him with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Trent Williams, and Kyle Shanahan. Like, he's never been in this situation before. As long as you can do the basics, hit the checks down as in the screens, and do a little play action, you're in business, baby. Like, Brock Purdy wouldn't have had that level of success on just any team. Now, he was a big contributor and a big reason, but he was in the right place at the right time, right? I think another quarterback could benefit the way he did. Maybe not have the exact same level of success, but a lot of success.
It's a good discussion. I will say this, though. Can we have this discussion a week from now? Because a week from now, we don't even know. I think like if Brock Purdy is going to be out to December, I don't want to go with Stetson Bennett. I'd rather go with Baker Mayfield. But if Brock Purdy is going to be back week 1, then you know what? And you got Brock and you got Trey, and then I'm probably okay with Stetson Bennett. You know what I mean? Or DTR or some other young quarterback who I have confidence in. But if I'm looking at week 1, like right now, if you knew Brock Purdy's not there for week 1, and then it's just about Trey's got to go through all of camp and all of the preseason and stay healthy. Otherwise, the season could be lost. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can put my whole, I don't know if I'm a gambler, but I don't know if I can put my whole season on Stetson Bennett. You know,
that's fair. That's fair. I just feel like there's diminishing upside with Baker Mayfield, and on this team where every quarterback gets hurt, I'm thinking Baker wouldn't last 8 games. But if you only need him for 7 or 6.
Are you worried about his
there
play?
Is something off with him.
Personality.
Every time he goes to a team, there's like someone who tweets something like, no, like a teammate, like, no, please, why did you have to? Robbie Anderson, I mean, Nick Bosa already has totally clowned this guy. Seems like one of these guys is easy to hate.
I know. I'll say this, though. It's an intriguing quarterback market. I saw Robert Saleh have a quote about, because the Jets wanted, they wanted Carr. Then Carr went to the Saints today. Now they're saying they're all in on Rodgers. A lot of people saying they want Jimmy. But I saw a quote from Saleh saying, hey, I believe that Zach Wilson's going to get a whole lot better, whether it be here or elsewhere.
Oh, wow.
And when he said elsewhere, I was like, woo, I know Steve Young really believes in Zach Wilson. I think if you ask me, if you gave the 49ers instead of the 3rd pick, if they had the 2nd pick, I think they would have gone Zach Wilson.
That would have been a huge mistake.
I would not be shocked if Zach Wilson were traded if the 49ers had interest there.
Wow. I just don't understand it. Like, wow, you already have Trey Lance. Zach Wilson got more than 20 starts, was awful. His entire team hates him. Bad. Really bad. But his values. I know the Niners did like him. Chris Sims, I think the Niners liked him a big time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to him because something's going to happen to him.
Right. Would you take him here?
No.
What do you think of having 3 quarterbacks and having Brock and Trey and Zach Wilson?
I'd rather draft a quarterback. No. Zach Wilson, he's already got too much baggage. I don't need that. We don't need him. He's a loser. Nah. I also think he was like a COVID mirage. He had one good year. It was a weird year. It was really shoddy scouting that year because there wasn't even a combine. Yeah, no.
But here's the one thing. I will say
he's not a great athlete.
I hear you, but here's the one thing. At BYU, never played with any kind of a muddy pocket with bodies all around him. That takes getting used to. In the NFL, you don't ever play in a non-muddy pocket. There's constant bodies around you. I think there's an adjustment that he needs to make, that he probably will make. I'll say this, and I'm going to say it for everybody on March 6, 2023. Zach Wilson is going to, in the future, is going to have far greater value than he has today.
Sure, because he has no value right now. He has negative value right now.
Right.